Alright, so First Adversary, this is a relatively new boss, still as of the time of recording here. So I know a lot of people are still trying to kind of get their bearings with him, get used to how this fight works. It is a parry-based fight where you need to more block than parry really, because you're not retaliating. So you block his certain attacks of his by using the NPC chat key. So you'll gain a skill with the cooldown shown in this bottom spot here, and you just press it right before he hits you. You have like probably half a second to 3/4 of a second duration where you'll block the attack. And the reason you need to do this is because they're going to be a gauge. Mine should show up over here, and this gauge is central to this battle. You want to maintain at least half of the gauge filled or above, because periodically he's going to use not really an attack, more like just do something that will kind of reset the fight and then also take away some of your lives if you are too low on your gauge. So it is divided into like 5 sections. If you're in section 2 or 1 on the bottom, you will lose 100 of your willpower for section 2 and 200 for section 1. And when you start the fight, you have 1,000 willpower, and each death is 200 willpower. So being at the very bottom of the gauge when this this transition happens is like taking a death when you didn't really. So the attacks that you need to parry, they differ depending on the phase. There's 3 phases, and the way it's going to work is that phase 1, there's going to be a bunch of sword and dagger attacks. You're going to want to parry them whenever the first adversary has a sort of orange glow to his weapons. In the second phase, it's going to take an elemental twist where there's fire, ice, and holy. You're assigned one of them. It'll float above your head, and also this skill will have the color and a symbol for which element you are. So you're supposed to parry those attacks, and you'll cycle through the elements every time it's called cycle of powers, the transition I've been referring to. Every time that happens, your element changes, so you just need to pay attention there. And then in the third phase, they kind of put it all together. You have an element, but at the same time, there are also empowered attacks that can be dodged. And this time, instead of glowing orange, those attacks have, it's generally described as kind of rainbowish, kind of a white rainbow glow. So you just need to watch out for that. For myself, I am not that great at parrying the attacks related to his daggers where he's dashing. And it's not as cut and dry as Saren, for example, where you just say, oh, Saren's attacking, let's duck it. Not all of his dash attacks can be ducked, and I still haven't bothered to get down which ones can or cannot be ducked. So odds are I will try to shy away from dashes rather than just confront them head on and parry the correct ones, which is fine on easy. It's typically in a boss like this, where you've got easy, normal, hard, extreme, it's kind of split where easy and normal are fairly forgiving with the mechanics, and then hard and extreme are where they start to really punish you. So in this case, you do not lose you do not lose power on the gauge or getting hit by many of the attacks during this fight, whereas when you're on hard and extreme, I believe everything will decrease your power for being hit. So on easy and normal here, you only take a decrease when you're hit by something that you should have parried in the first place. So it's fine to get hit by all the other background noise that really just amounts to chip damage. And let's see, anything other than that worth explaining? Oh, I suppose should mention that your final damage is also affected by where you are in your gauge. So the higher you're up, if you're at stage 4, you get 10%, stage 5, you get 20%, and then it's doubled and made negative the other way around. So stage 2 is negative 20%, stage 1, negative 40%. So you definitely want to stay up because of that too. It helps you end the fight sooner. And I guess one last thing is that he's always going to start the first phase with this same kind of big flashy attack. He's going to drop a whole crap ton of swords on you. You just jump to dodge the first one, and then about 2 seconds after they land, they kind of explode, and you're supposed to parry that attack. Now, if you screw that up, it's at the beginning of the fight. Just exit and restart. This game is nice nowadays. You don't have to wait 30 minutes before you go retry a boss. You're only losing a smidge of time on your buffs, so don't worry too much about messing it up the first time. Just, I mean, I might do it. I don't even know. So we'll see what happens there. And usually it's also nice to do your burst right after that, because if you parry that correctly, it'll push you from stage 3 to stage 4, so you can have a 10% final damage boost on your big burst. So that's what I'll do here. We'll see if I dodge it the first time. Not, it just adds a little bit of runtime, who cares? We'll reuse the shorter buffs here. This shouldn't be a terribly long fight on easy. Everything looks good there. Got 300 million there. Okay. All right. Nice to get it right the first time around. Now let's see if I can get everything else right. Yeah, there's a dash. I don't know why the volume on that attack is so low nowadays. That might just be my own settings. Oh, and I failed to parry there. Did it wrong, so the other thing that's really important to keep in mind about the parries is if you do them wrong, cooldown applied to the skill is the regular cooldown, which is 6 seconds. Whereas if you do it right, the cooldown becomes only like 1.5 seconds, so you can keep doing it in quick succession. Thought he was doing a dash that first one. So if you watch, you can see the sword attacks have a really friendly timing to them. And that's why those ones are really worth parrying. Stun him, see if we can get out of this phase before the power cycle happens. Not that it matters. Okay, so now on to the elemental part. I find phase 2 to be incredibly easy. I know there are some parts of it that can be a bit more of a nuisance when you get to the higher difficulties or in a party, but solo, easy peasy. Looks like I'm holy to start out, so need to dodge or parry the yellow attacks. I always forget how that bird works. It has to deal with which way his wings are facing. That's what you're going to want to... Like, it sort of dictates where you need to go. And I can never keep it straight in my head. I think this is you need to be in the center? Yes, okay. Wing spread, be in the center. And the little pillars where the attack falls from the sky, it just does a brief stun. So they can be kind of annoying since they can overlap with the teleporters. You just need to watch out for those, particularly during an attack like this. They can keep you locked down for a moment so you can get hit by something that's not the right element. Okay, so it looks like I've changed to fire. Wings folded, be away from the center. And looks like I should be able to origin burst at the beginning of the next phase. So yeah, phase 3 is definitely the most difficult when you have to put both things together, parrying the strong attacks and the elemental attacks. Looks like I'm ice. Oops, did an extra stun there. If you can get at least a little bit of the final damage buff from the gauge, I recommend doing that before a buff, or a burst. Ooh, that has a lot of reach. This is a pure damaging attack. Try to dodge some of the arrows there because they hit hard. Just a little too late. That one always likes to fool people because he does his slash really late. I recommend using audio to help you know when you're supposed to parry these attacks. to go down a stage there. You can really get chain stunned by a lot of what he does. And I'll have lost 100 will there, because I was in stage 2. Let's just go for the scent uses. Yeah, didn't really use the last one. Done a smidge earlier. Sanity check, 361. Alright, so that's first adversary for you, just on easy at least. Did lose 100 willpower there, which kind of would have liked to have been perfect, but I just got hit by too many dash attacks during the last phase, and I was dropping below the midpoint, and it just so happened to be bad when the cycle of power happened. Oh well, not a big deal. It was still only half a death, technically. Pretty good overall.